Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is video finds you. It's your boy Jay here, and today we're going to be talking about a couple things I think I would like to see in Monster Hunter Wilds taken from Wild Hearts, right? Now, Wild Hearts, I had a great time playing that game, but it's not better than Monster Hunter. Like, let's just get that out of the way. It was supposed to be a competitor, but I don't think it's better than Monster Hunter. Let's get that out the way right now. Did I enjoy the game for what it was? Yes. And there are things that I think Wild Hearts did that I would like to see in Monster Hunter, right? So the first thing I want to talk about today is actually related to what you're seeing on screen right now. So I'm using a hammer in this gameplay, right? But it kind of looks like an axe, but it's a blunt weapon, right? So it's got the hammer moveset, right? Because it is a hammer and it's doing impact damage despite it looking like an axe, like it should be cutting. Well, in Wild Hearts, that's something that they did. The Wild Hearts equivalent to hammer is the maul, right? And yes, many of the weapons on the maul weapon tree are impact, right? Or blunt weapon. It's blunt damage, right? You know what I'm saying? You go for the head, you get the KOs, same kind of thing. However, there are weapons in the maul tree that are capable of cutting damage, or that are capable of piercing damage as well, right? Because Wild Hearts has piercing damage as well. So in this one weapon type, if you really like this weapon's moveset, let's say you need to be able to cut off a tail and you can't cut it off with a blunt weapon, you could just build a weapon that does cutting and you're still playing your favorite weapon, right? In Monster Hunter right now, if you like hammer, right? And let's say you want to make a Brachydios hammer, which off the top of my head, I think requires you to cut off a Brachydios tail. But if you only want to play hammer, how you going to do that? You can't. You got to switch to a different weapon or get in the multiplayer and have, a fellow hunter cut off that tail for you so that you can make that weapon, right? Not in Wild Hearts, right? If you're playing solo maul, you could just make a hammer that cuts, and then you'll still be playing your favorite hammer moveset, except it has cutting damage as well. Now, this doesn't only apply to hammers, right? Like, maybe we can make a blunt greatsword, right? Instead of a great sword, now it could be, I don't know, a great club, right? And even in Monster Hunter right now, right? Let's look at the Rajang greatsword. Looks like a big old bat, doesn't it? It looked like it should be doing blunt damage. Now, instead of a true charge slash, we could do a true charge bonk. We could do that. So the way I propose we do this, like if I was in charge, I suppose, is no, I wouldn't want like every weapon to just have a toggle where like you could just switch it from cutting to blunt, right? I would make one or two weapons in the entire weapon tree the inverse of what it usually is, right? So or you could even make it like an event quest or something where it's like, hey, you complete this event quest, you'll earn a special ticket which lets you forge a hammer that's unusual, right? Blah 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 blah, and then you'll be able to make your great axe, quote unquote, right? Because now it's going to be a hammer that does cutting damage or a great sword that does blunt damage instead, right? So that's one way to make it like super engaging, super fun, and kind of will let the Capcom developers balance it around that specific weapon, right? Like I do think if you just let there be a toggle where if you create any sword in the game and you just say, you know what, just make it blunt, I think that'll be too much. And also I think it would be a lot of work because now every weapon would have to have two different models, one being blunt, one being cutting, blah 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 blah, and it would just get really complicated really quickly. And I think it would lead to some combinations being particularly broken. For example, I have always said that I want a new weapon in Wilds because I think we need a faster blunt weapon, right? I think we need a fast blunt weapon because if you look at the blunt options currently, we got hammer, which is like charging, it's mobile, it walks around pretty well, but it's slow swinging and it's a heavy hitter weapon. Cool. And then the other option, hunting horn, which is quirky, it's music, it's buffing, and typically it's pretty slow, exception to the rule Rise, but even that was kind of, there's some commitment here and there in some moves where now we can have in my event quest idea, we can have blunt dual blades. But those would have to be, balanced as its own thing because I think blunt dual blades could run away and be way stronger than it needs to be, just because of how many hits there are. Like, I think they would have to tune it a specific way just so that the game stays balanced, right? Like, if you make the best dual blades in the game and it's just a toggle and you could just make it blunt, why would we continue playing cutting dual blades when we can get 1 billion knockdowns because we got 1 billion hits? We just demon punching monsters all in the face, KOs everywhere. It'd be crazy. So that's why I'm suggesting maybe 1 or 2 weapon trees that are, you know, special and different, and that way we can have our fast blunt option, like sword and board. Now it could be bat and board, right? Now the entirety of the sword and shield moveset could be blunt if you wanted to. Both the shield bashes and the sword swings, well, in this case now it's a bat swing, could all be blunt. And then now your perfect rush really looks crazy, right? Couldn't that be dope as hell? That would have went really well with the Akuma skin that we got in Rise that makes sword and shields invisible. But hey, whatever. You see what I'm getting at? Let me know how you're feeling about this idea in the comments down below. As you guys know, the real content is the conversations that we start from me creating these kind of vids, man. So definitely head down to the comment section, drop your comments, let your thoughts be known, man. I plan on replying to each and every comment that hits this video at least once. So get down there, start typing, and let's move on to the next thing I want to see Monster Hunter Wilds potentially take from Wild Hearts. Alright, the next thing I kind of want to see Monster Hunter Wilds borrow from when it comes to Wild Hearts is the customization option. Okay, now a huge part of Wild Hearts is like building Karakuri everywhere, right? So you're looking at this cave, I got this tent set up here, I got this tower set up here, and you could just lay down, you know, installations anywhere you want really on the map, right? Now I'm not saying Monster Hunter should do that. I feel like that's too much like Wild Hearts, but I do think customization like this has a place in Monster Hunter, namely the player's room. That's right. I want to see customization similar to, you know, Wild Hearts level in the player's room, right? I don't know, something about Monster Hunter Wilds tells me that we're going to some like uncharted land, hence the name Wilds, right? And we're gonna be, I don't know, really important to the center hub, town, city, or whatever. And they're gonna give us a space where it's like, yeah, you can customize this space. Since we're starting from the ground up, boom, you can customize it how you want, right? And I think it'd be really cool to, you know, let the player have some expression in laying out how they want their room to be laid out, right? And we already saw a little bit of this in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, where like, yes, you can customize your room, you can put figurines in certain places and, you know, maybe put a suit of armor here or there, but for the most part, everyone's room was the same, the exact same. I think it would be really cool if we all got a space and we could lay it out however we want. Put the bed in the room wherever we want. Maybe put some of the trophies that we get from hunting wherever we want, right? And even in like Sunbreak, we had like this little shelf where you could put certain things that maybe you got from some event quest or whatever. But like the room was the exact same. I'm thinking they let us do a little bit more customization and really let us express ourselves with the player room feature, and that way when you visit another player's lobby and you go in their room, you really get to see like, oh, this person is, you know, like this, right? You get a bit more of their personality in their room, which is something you do get right now. I remember when we were hunting Fatalis, right? It was a group of 4 of us, man. We went to the homie's room, bro. Fangs by Peach. His room was hella decked out, and he had the colors going, and he had all this stuff all over the place. It was dope, but it's kind of the same. Like, I know what your room looks like because my room looks the exact same way. They didn't really let us have that much creative expression, and I think Monster Hunter players would run wild with this level of customization in the player room feature in Monster Hunter Wilds. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, so that's going to be about it for today's video. Those are the 2 main things I wanted to talk about today that I want to see Monster Hunter Wilds take from Wild Hearts, aside from crossplay. But I already made an entire video about the subject of crossplay a while ago. I'm going to drop a link to that here in the card. So if you want to check that out, feel free to click that. But yeah, the main meat and potatoes is going to be the blunt weapon thing, right? Where like we got you know, maybe we could have a cutting hammer or a blunt greatsword with, you know, that's just something that I thought about, and I was like, man, I wonder if something like that really could work, and that's something that we could take from Wild Hearts. that would work really well in Monster Hunter Wilds. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, happy hunting. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.